What if there was a simple shift that could change your life? Would you be interested? No, it's not about working harder or doing more things or hoping for a miracle. It's simply looking at the story you tell yourself and how can this story be changed or adjusted so it serves me rather than limits and hinders me. Stay tuned in this video because we're going to show you how you can do that and the big impact it has on you. Welcome. For me, I used to struggle. I struggled a lot in school. It wasn't easy for me. Things I wanted to do seemed to be hard. And I developed this story that you have to struggle, that it's hard. It's just, you can't find the easy way to do it. And that made me feel like inside, like I was a victim. Like other people had the breaks, but for me, I just wasn't getting the breaks. Something just wasn't working out for me. And I couldn't quite figure it out, but I knew somehow there had to be a better way. One day I realized that there's different stories we tell ourselves. There's 4 primary stories, and when you know these stories and you can switch out of them, it makes a huge difference. The first story is that of being a victim. And we all play these different roles in different times, but is this one of the dominant roles that you're in? One of the dominant stories of your life? Because if it is, you see yourself as powerless, you see external forces impacting and having influence on what happens, and you just really struggle. And remember, when you are the victim, the only role you can play is that of being rescued. So you're looking for someone to help you. And the emphasis is on what has been done to you rather than the power and choices you have. Let's look at some common phrases and words used when you're having a victim type story. You'll say things to yourself like, why does this always happen to me? There's nothing I can do. It's not fair. I feel stuck. No one understands what I'm going through. I'm just not strong enough to deal with this. Why do bad things keep happening to me? The words you use are things like unfair, helpless, trapped, powerless, unlucky, stuck, loss, and missed opportunities. The second story we find ourselves in is that of being a villain. And in the villain story, we just feel like we're bad, we're flawed, we feel guilty about it, we have shame. But there's a part of us that feels responsible for this. And we feel like we are inflicting pain on ourselves and others. And this just really leads us to a lot of feeling like we're just not good enough, we don't like ourselves. And we take on this role that we are the villain, the bad guy. We're responsible for ourselves and others. If things didn't turn out well, it's because of us. And let's look at the different things we say and the words we use when we are feeling like we are a villain and our story is that of a villain and a bad guy. We'll say things like, I've caused this, it's my fault, I'm the problem, I don't deserve forgiveness, I've caused a lot of pain. Words that we use are guilt, blame, fault, harm, regret, and punishment. The third story type is that of the hero. Here, you overcome obstacles, you see challenges, and you embrace them, and you are not going to just shy away from this. You don't see yourself as a bad guy. You might actually wonder, like, can I do this? Like in the movie Star Wars, where Luke Skywalker is a hero, but in the beginning, he's kind of like, can I do this? Am I worthy? Can I make this happen? But ultimately, he decides, I can do this. I am worthy. I am capable. I can be a Jedi. So it's the same for you. Do you see yourself as someone who is either a hero or you're growing into a hero type role? And your story will be molded around this. It's very positive. Let's look at the words and phrases you'll use if you are using a hero type story. I will overcome this. This is just a challenge. This is part of my journey. I can learn from this experience. I'll find a way through this. I'm not giving up. Common words are challenge, journey, growth, resilience, courage, and victory. The fourth common type is that of a guide. And a guide is someone who mentors you, helps you, supports you, gives you that encouragement, the little wisdom you need to make it through this passage or this challenge, those types of things. A guide is someone who previously maybe had been a hero, but now they're taking the role of a guide. So if we look in your life, you'll see people that are like coaches and mentors and things like that. And you can also be a guide to those that are right below you. You don't have to be at the top of the mountain to be a guide. For instance, if you were a freshman in high school, you could help someone who was in elementary school or middle school. You don't have to be light years ahead of them. You just need to be a little bit. But the guide here is very critical. It's a very supportive role. And let's look at the words and languages the guide would use. I'm here to guide others. I want to pass this on. I'm here to help you succeed. I've been where you are. Common words are guide, teach, support, wisdom, experience, and helpful. Okay, those four are the main big four ones, but there are some other ones that are kind of offshoots of them, and I want to go over them right now. The first one is the survivor. And if you're the survivor, you basically feel like, hey, I can endure anything, I can overcome all these challenges, and you have a lot of resilience, and you develop a lot of coping techniques or ways to stay in it and struggle and fight and keep going. But the downfall with this one is it's not about growing or transforming or becoming more. It's basically like you develop thick skin that you can get through this. And the survivor is just that. It's surviving, but it's not thriving. And it's not that fulfilling. So let's look at some of the phrases and words that a survivor might use. I've been through worse. I can handle anything. I just need to keep going. It's tough, but I'm tougher. Common words are endure, survive, strength, resilience, cope, and perseverance. The sixth story type that people play out is that of the rebel. And in the rebel here, you are challenging the status quo, you're fighting against things, you have a lot of resistance, and you can take on an issue sometimes where you see an injustice and you just want to clean it up and change it and make things better. But there's a lot of resistance to what you're doing. You're going against things, so you have this strong feeling of independence, but what it leads to is conflict. Conflict sometimes within yourself, but more often conflict with other people, and that can lead to alienation. You feel isolated, people don't understand me, and you can also refuse help. In the end, though, you feel like you lose your inner peace. You're just not at peace with yourself because you have all this conflict and struggle going on. Now, let's look at the common words and phrases someone who is in the rebellion type storyline would feel and use. I don't follow rules. I won't be told what to do. I don't conform. I do it my way. Rules are made to be broken. I'm standing up for what's right. Common words are challenge, defy, resist, independent, and nonconformity. A seventh story type is that of rags to riches. And you can think of lots of movies where someone starts out with a humble beginning and then they have all this massive success. Maybe it's financial, maybe it's friendships, but whatever it is, it's a type of success. It could also be where they go from the poor and lower class to middle class or way up to the stratosphere to the highest levels of society. And it's through hard work and perseverance. And this is someone who we root for because they had a personal transformation and they became a better person through going all these struggles. So this is the rags to riches story. Let's look at common phrases and words used in a rags to riches story. I started from nothing. I'm proving them wrong. Look how far I've come. Anything is possible. I made something out of nothing. Common words: success, achievement, transformation, hard work, possibility, rise above, and determination. All right, the last one we're going to look at is number 8, and that is being a martyr. So when you're being a martyr, you are sacrificing your own personal needs and desires for other people. And it's not in a healthy way. It's not like, oh, I'm doing this because I really want to do it. You're doing it because you feel a duty or an obligation. It's not necessarily a calling, although it could start out this way. But along the way, your focus is on other people first, and it can lead you to feeling like you are neglecting yourself, you're being burned out, you're frustrated, and sometimes you just start resenting what you're doing. So some common sentences that you'll say, some common words you'll say, and phrases, let's look at those right now. I have to do this for them. I'm the only one who can help. I don't have time for myself. If I don't do it, no one will. Common words: sacrifice, duty, obligation, burden, responsibility, others first. Do you see yourself in any of these stories? We went over 8 of them, and only 3 are positive and 5 are negative. 5 of them are ones you actually don't want to do. So what you want to ask yourself right now is, what story am I living out? Because we're all living out a story, and that story is either empowering us and lifting us up, or it's limiting us and getting us down some of these negative paths where we feel frustrated, angry, resentment, burnout, those types of things. So think about that for a second. Which story am I playing out? Which story am I living? And is that the story I want to live out? Your story is super important, and let's look at 4 ways it's impacting you that you may not be aware of, but now that you are going to become aware, you can actually make the changes that you want. Number 1, your story shapes your identity, and then you act consistent with your identity. Number 2, it influences your behavior and the choices you make and how you respond to things. Number 3, it frames your reality about what's possible for you. It also sets your expectations of what you envision. It turns your expectations into reality. 4, it determines your relationships and how you interact with them. If you believe you are unworthy or unlovable, you might withdraw or accept less than you deserve. It also helps you set boundaries or, conversely, not set boundaries. If you thought of yourself as a movie and you were the main character in your movie, would your movie and your story and you, the character you play, would it be something that people would be cheering for and rooting for and enjoying and excited about? Or would it be boring? Or would it be something where people are like, man, why doesn't that guy or lady just fix this or change that? So think about your story and what role are you in this, and is it one that you really like, you're excited about, or is this a movie and a story that you're just like, man, I wish I could change a few things here. I have a quote about this. The story you tell yourself is the script you follow. Change the narrative and you change your life. As we get close to wrapping up this video, I want to have you think of a way that you can identify what's going on and how to change it. So there's 3 parts to this on identifying your story and being able to change it. Number 1, how am I defining myself in this situation? And again, that can be any situation you find yourself in. What role are you playing? And is that the dominant role and theme that you continue to play in different scenes? Number 2, is this story helping me grow or is it holding me back? Number 3, what alternative story could I tell myself that aligns with my strengths and potential? Your story really matters. It's either limiting you and holding you back, or it is empowering you and propelling you forward. It's that simple. So now that you're aware of different story types, pick ones that empower you and help you and make you have a better tomorrow, a better future, rather than ones that limit you and hold you back. Now that you've looked at these different story types and you're aware of them, I have a question for you to ponder. What story have you been living, and is it the one you want to continue? Remember, you are the director of your story. You're writing your story. You get to pick what happens. And what are you going to pick next? What is the next chapter in your life? What's the next part of your story going to be? Is it going to be a turn? Is it going to be going upwards? What is that going to be? Only you get to decide. Choose wisely. If you like this video on stories, I have another video that is a great story for you to watch, and it's showing up right now. You can click that. Remember to hit subscribe and like and all that good stuff. Write a comment. Let me know what you think. I do respond to all these. All the best to you. I look forward to seeing you and having you have a great story.